Hi, everyone. Welcome to our town hall. We're just going to wait for a few minutes until more people have signed into the webinar. So please be patient. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the November Town Hall. As always, we have a very exciting agenda for this month's meeting, so we hope you enjoy it as much as we will presenting it to you. For those of you who are joining our town hall for the first time, we usually showcase the work of two of our clients, followed by a community update, a product feature update, updates from WhatsApp, and then we wrap up with some Q&A. So without further ado, let's jump into the community showcase. Today, we are very lucky to have Maria Deschel from Tangible AI here with us. She will talk about leveraging natural language data to improve messaging solutions. Over to you, Maria.
Thank you, Carola, so much. Welcome, everyone. Very excited to be here with you today. So as Carola mentioned, we're Tangible AI. I build chatbot and AI solutions for the social sector. And one of the areas of work that we found really enjoyable for us recently is not just building chatbot, but also helping people maintain and improve their existing solutions. So if we can go to the next slide, the story of this talk starts with IPAS client with an IPAS chatbot called Nurse Nisa. So IPAS is an organization that provides contraception and abortion services and information around the world. And they developed a bot called Nurse Nisa that is currently active in Kenya and Democratic Republic of Congo that provides information about abortion and contraception to the women that need it. And I hope that Tam and Emily are in the crowd. So a great shout out for the great work they did. And I want to say that even though we are talking about Nurse Nisa today, you can actually use this approach for any bot. So on to the next slide. So when we were working with IPAS on Nurse Nisa, the team came to me and they basically said, So there is in Turn.io, there is this one of the statistic that Turn.io's dashboard provides is most common intents. And then when you look at it, often one of your most common intents is going to be your catch-all intent. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What's in there, right? It says catch-all, but actually inside this information, which probably comprises something like 5 to 20% of everything users say to your bot, is all the stuff that your bot didn't quite understand. And there's actually a treasure trove of very useful information about how users perceive your bot, what they're interested in, and how they try to navigate. So there is plenty to uncover here, and let's talk about how we actually did it. So on to the next slide. So this is basically our process of how we work with natural language data, and how to analyze it in a cost-effective way. So the first thing you of course need to do is, of course, you need to extract the data from the BigQuery database that Turn.io syncs to. So that requires a little bit of SQL work, but once you read your query, if you know what your catch-all intent is, it's actually not very difficult. And basically, so you get all of your natural language expressions, and we usually call them utterances. So that's the usual term for natural language processing. And the first thing that we do with this is a process called clustering. So clustering is basically, the idea is that we try to understand which utterances are close to each other in meaning. This is where the magic of natural language processing comes in, because we are able to tell the machine learning algorithm actually to do this for us, and it basically represents all the different natural language expressions by a point in space, and we can see which of these points are closer to each other. So this is an important step, and then based on this clustering, what we can do is we can actually develop kind of a mental model of all the stuff that users say to your bot, and we'll talk about this deeper in a second. But we basically create some sort of hierarchy of the different intents, where we have some bigger groups and subgroups and subgroups. And because we clustered our natural language utterances in advance, we are able to assign them to those groups in a process called labeling in a very efficient way, because we don't have to go one by one. We can assign whole groups of intents, all groups of expressions to those intents and topic groups that we define. And then finally, once we've done that, we are able to actually look at our data and analyze it a little bit and uncover all kinds of interesting insights. So let's talk about those in the next slide. So here are the few kind of global groups, top groups of things that people say to your bot. So the most important one for sure is queries and questions. So everything that users ask your bot that's related to the topic of the bot. In our case, because Nurse Nisa is a bot with abortion and contraception information, there is of course a lot of questions about those topics and emergency contraception, and it's very essential to understand what the users are asking. You can discover what are the most common questions, and also understand quite a lot from even the way people ask those questions. So, for example, we discovered that a lot of people that ask about contraception don't even mention the word contraception, right? They just ask how I prevent pregnancy. And now that's the question of, does the bot lets user understand that, if they want to prevent pregnancy, they should look into the contraception topic. Another common group of tasks is and utterances is everything that's related to navigation. So most of the bots of people in this crowd, I assume, are menu-based. And often people don't exactly understand how to use those menu controls in order to arrive to those menu sections. So this is a group of utterances that you kind of want to minimize and make your menu and your bot as easily navigatable as possible. There is, of course, small talk. There is no matter if you detect or don't detect your user saying hi, there is always more ways to say hi. And of course, some expressions, emojis, everything that doesn't really care much information to it, but people still do it. And of course, in the ideal world, we kind of want to minimize the reaction of I didn't understand you to that, but this will always be part of your recognized events. And then there is, of course, the feedback section where people would say thank you to your bot, or maybe they would say, why don't you understand me, right? Especially when working in the development settings, you'll encounter a lot of people that think your bot is a human. In our other bot that's not good with Stern.io, we actually encountered people thinking that our chatbot character is a real woman and asking for her number. So there is all kinds of things happening here. And basically, when we look at it, we don't take the feedback too seriously, not the positive and not the negative one, because it's kind of anecdotal. But one of the things that we are very mindful about is if people say, I don't understand. And this is an opportunity to look into your bot and understand what is it that users didn't understand, and if this issue is recurring. And then, of course, there will always be some misunderstandings, and some people will say things that you can't relate to any category, and there is always certain amount of spam and people trying to send some sort of promotion to your bot. So that happens quite often. So of course, in terms of where you want to aim this balance of topics, of course, you want to maximize the amount of queries, because everything else basically can be, a lot of the other stuff can be solved with a bit better design of the chatbot and maybe incorporating some natural language understanding. So on to our next slide. So basically, this is why do we even do this analysis? So there's a few things that you can do with this, and it doesn't even require you to introduce natural language understanding. The most basic thing that you can do is, for example, if you see some questions that repeat themselves over and over and over, you can just put them in a frequently asked questions sections and put it somewhere close to your main menu, or even in your catch-all reply, so that people can access answers to those questions. Another thing that you can look at is how people try to navigate your chatbot and make your navigation clearer. And of course, finally, your option is, of course, to implement at least some limit of natural language understanding and let the bot be a bit more robust in understanding the natural language queries. Ultimately, all of these things lead to this meaningful improvement. So one of our I would say North Star metrics in measuring how effective bot is not only how many users it engaged, but how many of those users actually achieved some meaningful point, interacted with content that we actually wanted them to reach. So it happens often that people will engage with the chatbot, but because they didn't quite understand how to navigate it, they won't even reach the information you want them to access. So increasing this ratio in the bot's efficiency is very crucial. And then, of course, if users feel more comfortable interacting with your bot and finding the information they need, they will come back more likely. So I would finish my lightning talk with that. So if we can go to the next slide. So first of all, you can of course access Nurse Nisa's bot here, as well as the dashboards and some of the statistics that we talked about today. And if you're interested in looking at what your chatbots users tell you, I'm of course here to answer questions and support you in any way.
Thanks, Maria. We'll be taking questions from the audience at the end, but please feel free to type them into the Q&A or the chat. Now I would like to tell you a bit more about Same Same. Same Same is a very inspiring project for young people questioning their sexual orientation and gender identity. It offers support people might need to access information and services. Let's hear more about their work in the next video.
Navigating adolescence is challenging for everyone, but it's especially difficult for young people questioning their sexual orientation and gender identity. In the USA, lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth are almost 5 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. And the situation is even more dire in countries like Nigeria and Indonesia, where support is dangerous to access, if it exists at all.
At a time in their lives when they most need understanding and advice, LGBTQ+ youth around the world often have nowhere to turn. But there's a solution. Created by a queer collective hailing from the Global South, Same Same provides a safe space for young people who feel different to access the support they need.
By combining the widespread availability of WhatsApp with the app's end-to-end encryption and a user experience that's designed to protect the identity of LGBTQ+ youth, users are able to complete mental health questionnaires that help us direct them to the content they need the most. They're able to engage with doctors, lawyers, and therapists in regularly scheduled live chats. They're able to read and share stories of adversity and triumph that are relevant to their lives.
They're able to find services that they can turn to for further support. They learn to fight depression, anxiety, and stress through a series of self-guided activities. Activities that integrate identity affirmation with cognitive behavioral therapy, an approach that has been proven to improve the well-being of LGBTQ+ youth.
There's a desperate need for support like this. In a pilot of LGBTQ+ mental health service in Uganda, hundreds of people signed up before the project was discontinued due to safety fears and lack of funding. Using WhatsApp, Same Same is able to extend a virtual lifeline to more than 44 million LGBTQ+ youth who live in countries with discriminatory laws and social norms. As members of the queer community, the Same Same team has lived experience to understand the challenge. We have decades of expertise building brands and digital services, and we're connecting the local youth to ensure that we're close to events on the ground.
Starting in South Africa and Indonesia, our aim is to begin conversations with over 100,000 young people in our first year. Our ambition is to expand the service everywhere that LGBTQ youth are fighting to find safe spaces so that they can discover who they are today and who they might become in the future.
To recap, some of the key learnings are: Same Same allows users to easily access relevant content. They are able to connect in real time with experts such as doctors, lawyers, and therapists. They can share inspirational stories relevant to their lives. They are able to find services on the ground for further support. And they can practice self-care through an approach that has been proven to improve the well-being of LGBTQ+ youth. Most importantly, users are able to access this service in a safe and private way, thanks to WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption and a design that helps protect their identity. If you would like to explore the service for yourself, scan the QR code on the screen and start chatting away. I would now like to hand over to Kanya, who will be diving into new community members.
Thank you very much, Carola, and hello everyone, and welcome to our town hall. It's great hosting you today. Now, November has been a very busy month for the Turn.io team. We've been hosting the Chat for Impact Global Bootcamp series, whereby we've conducted and concluded 2 out of the 3 boot camps already, with the last one happening tomorrow, the 18th of November, for the Asia Pacific region. And I encourage those that are based there to join still. Collectively, it's been amazing. We've received more than 1,000 applications for the 3 boot camps, whereby more than 100 people have actually registered for each event. Now, each boot camp is made up of informative and interactive sessions, whereby their participants get to engage with our team. We look forward to onboarding these organizations that have applied to the boot camps by the end of the year, and we will share more information about these new organizations and the projects that become part of the Turn.io community in our next town hall. Coming to our community, we will be showcasing 4 new community members during this month's town hall. The first one being 1,000 Days Fund. Now, this is an organization that is based out in Indonesia, which seeks to mobilize national commitment towards zero stunting by the year 2030. Now, stunting is a condition that arises from prolonged undernutrition, and it affects both physical and brain development. This organization is looking to set up a WhatsApp line that will provide essential information regarding maternal and child health and community-based healthcare system, which emphasizes on the 3 key messages on stunting. Secondly, we have the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Jadpur. Now, this institution is an institute of national importance. It was established in 2012 and operates autonomously under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in India. The team will be using their WhatsApp service line to set up conversational chatbot for providing basic information on health and behavioral economics. The line will also be used to provide some first-level triaging with symptom information for the patients before they come into the hospital. Thirdly, we have iCall helpline by the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Interestingly, the Tata Institute of Social Sciences is Asia's oldest institute for professional social work education and was founded in 1936. The iCall helpline is a pioneering mental health project that endeavors to provide professional and free counseling through technology-assisted mediums. The iCall WhatsApp line aims to provide mental health support irrespective of age, gender, sexual orientation, or race, and transcending geographical distances while ensuring confidentiality. And lastly, we have the Gram Vani, which is a social tech organization that aims to impact communities via their projects using simple and easily available tech platforms. They have been able to impact communities at large in more than 200 million users in India, in Afghanistan, and Tanzania, Namibia, and South Africa, in partnership with over 80 organizations within the social sector. We would like to welcome all these 4 organizations to our ever-growing community, and we look forward to seeing shared learnings from your services on the LinkedIn chat for Impact Group. Thank you very much, and I'd like now to hand over to Indrani Vedula.
Thank you, Kanya. Hello, everyone. I'm Indrani Vedula and lead Impact Partnerships for Asia Pacific and India at Turn.io. I am very excited to announce to you about the upcoming Chat for Impact event in December. Next slide, please. So on December 2nd, in partnership with Prekel.org and Turn.io, WhatsApp is hosting the very first Chat for Impact education webinar. So what is it? We will showcase some very interesting case studies from the education sector and share the most up-to-date learnings and insights. A key highlight of the webinar is a panel discussion where education experts will share insights gained during the pandemic and explore the role of chat technology and what sort of a role it can play in building back better education with the collaboration of industry, philanthropy, academia, and government representatives. So please mark your calendars. We will be sending you all an invite very soon. And with that, I'll hand over to Neelka for the product update.
Thanks, Indrani. We're excited to spend time with you today. Pippa and myself will share our latest product updates with you. Pippa, I think you can start for us.
Great. Thanks, Neelka. So on the 1st of November, we launched playbooks for all, still in beta, but if you are using app.turn.io, you'll see there's a new menu item in your account called playbooks, where you can go and view playbooks that have been shared by the community. If you're a private cloud client of Turn, so you have your own installation of Turn, because of the security around your account, you can't access community playbooks within your private cloud account. So if you want to see what's going on in the community playbook section, please don't hesitate to log in to a sandbox account on app.turn.io and explore there. But the added benefit for private cloud clients as well, you can share playbooks within your organization, within your private cloud account, if you would like to do that. Now, I know these things are a little bit abstract unless you see them in real life. So I have linked a video there for all of you, and Neelka will share it in the chat as well. That shows you exactly what a playbook is, how to download one and activate it in your account. And so you can use it in your service, as well as how to create one yourself. And so we'd love to support anyone who's interested in creating playbooks. They're pretty simple. You can do it without our help. But if you'd like any support or guidance, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is as I said, still in beta. We're excited to hear your feedback about what other playbooks types you want to share as we move forward in this journey of making it really easy for all of us to share our best practices with each other. And so next up, I want to speak a little bit about a new feature we talked about a little while ago. And you're not going to be able to read this slide, but I'll talk you through it and you can see this in more detail. We have been working really hard on improving our ability to send more human responses. So how do we help human operators find the exact message that they need to respond to in a sea of messages and people interacting with a bot? How do we find the questions users have asked? And so we built functionality called Jump to Message, which we've been testing in beta for the last little while. So what that is it instead of seeing when you go into a collection, instead of seeing a list of your users, it actually defaults to seeing individual messages that show the reason that user is in the collection. So, you know, if your collection is created on show me all the users who have ever sent the word help, when you go into the collection, you'll see in the list the individual messages that have that word help in. So it makes it really easy to kind of look through, click on one you want to answer, and then it will jump straight to that exact message. Even if that message was 2 weeks ago or longer, or even hopefully just under 24 hours ago, instead of going to the end of the conversation, it will jump straight to that exact message and highlight it in gray, so that it's easy for you to find. You can still, of course, jump back to the bottom of the conversation if it's not the last message by clicking on a blue arrow. And we give you, if that message is far back in history, we give you a 2-week time window around that message. So 7 days in the past and 7 days into the future, before and after that message. So you have the context around what was happening in the conversation at that time as well. And so that's what Jump to Message is all about. I'm very excited to announce on the next slide that in our beta testing with the wonderful team at Mom Connect, and I just want to say a big thank you to Sister Jane, Portia, Mpule, Damson, Shirley, Tani, Jane, P, Lauren, and Eric for working very closely with us on this endeavor. Just introducing this to Mom Connect, which is obviously a really, really high volume help desk, we managed to see a huge increase in the number of questions that the team could get through on a daily basis, just because we're making it much quicker to find that message in amongst other chatbot or outbound messaging content. So this is still in beta. We're going to be releasing it very soon to all of you, so you can make use of it. If you're interested in getting access earlier than that, don't hesitate to reach out. But yeah, we're very excited about the early results on this and excited to share it with you all. But there's more exciting news coming up, so I'm going to hand back to Nyoka.
Great. Thanks, Papa. Yes, I think indeed we are working on a few interesting and definitely new features that we hope you guys enjoy and would love to have feedback. So another one that I want to talk about today is about button messages. Maybe if you were, or if you attended Town Hall last month, we started talking about it, but we're ready to launch it this week. And it will really change a lot of the user experience for your users. And it does give you a task to go and think through, where do you apply it and how do you apply it, and track how it changes interactions from the user side. But in short, in this week, you will be able to create a button message in turn, and then you will be able to share or send that button message via an automation. And on top of it, you'll be able to automatically act when a user presses the button. So from a user side, it changes stuff because I can now reply with a click, like a one-click reply, if you think about it that way. My screenshot is also a little bit small, but and we'll share a Learn article with you guys, but there's a few things that you'll note, like you can have up to 3 buttons on a button message. You can also share media files like images and videos and PDFs. And it has an optional footer, and then the usual stuff like you can label your content in turn to keep it all together. So that will allow you to create it and send it. And I've made a little video for us on the next slide. So let me chat you through a use case. This is my service, Educate Me. And as per usual, there's a little menu. And one of my items is that you can update your details. But I'm not specifying which details, but then I give the user an option to say, change your weekly subscription details, or maybe change your language preference details, or maybe it's about updating the general contact details. And as we play the video again, let's see. So there's my 3 buttons, and just by clicking it, the user replies, and they don't have to type weekly subscription or subscription. And I mean, if you just think about the word subscription and how many spelling errors that can have, buttons really takes away those errors. So this will be available for you in this week. We will share it on all our community forums, but where you will find it in turn, you have your normal content page, and you will get a brand new tab called Buttons. And we've written, and I'll share all the links of how you create them, and all the steps will be on Learn in a how-to article. But basically, you'll see it in your content page, and you'll be able to add it, and you'll be able to add it in automation. And then in next week on that slide, we're working towards having a button start a thread. So here is where it gets really exciting, because imagine you now asking your user maybe to register, and when they click that button, you give them a thread, and that thread collects whatever information you need from them. So it's really just making it easier from the user side. And then on that same note, you will also be able to use button messages in threads. So I think you're going to start using a lot more buttons. And that's why we've spoke about it last month, and we love to speak about it today, because you guys will need to go back and think, what existing content do I change into a button? What don't I change? And how am I going to track some of my, how it changes my interaction? And then once everything on buttons are in, we are moving on to lists. And lists, I think, will be even more of a change, because some of you might already have been using buttons in message templates. So it's been something that's around for a little bit longer. And on the screenshot here, you'll see on the left, the typical long menu saying press 1 for this and then press 2 for this. And there's a few emojis. And then if you look on the list message on the right, suddenly there's just this pop-up thing and the user selects one of the items on the list and there we go. It sends them to the right menu item. So it's from a user side, it's very exciting because it's less effort for them. It's not typing, it's just selecting. But once again, start thinking and have those discussions as a team and take your content and revisit it. It's really a great time to optimize the experience for users and to revisit your content design. What we've learned with the chat services that we've seen is the more time you spend on content, you can never spend too much time on content. It's one of the critical things that makes a good service. Use it to shorten content, take learning moments, think about the copy and the wording that you use, and where you continue with emojis, etc. But yeah, so we're very excited about this, and you will see buttons in this week. You'll continue to see more functionality on buttons, and then we'll talk about lists again in the future with you. And then I'm handing over to Manish to talk to us about community and how we stay connected.
Thanks, Nilka. Before going into community, we have a few questions for Maria. We have just one question. Maria, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Manish. So the question we were asked is, how do you reach? So Kago is asking, what are the strategies to reach back to users once you've realized that there is a certain pattern in your natural language and now it's a known intent? So this is a great question, and as a lot of great questions, it's a complex one, and it really depends on the team strategy of how they engage with their audience, right? I mean, optimally, we would of course like people on the team supporting the bot to be able to reply to each and every user, but it's not always feasible. So of course, if a person had a correct question and you realize it in time and you have a time to get back to them, that's optimal. But if you just want to update your users, for example, that there is new content added and stuff like that, one of the things that we used before is ask people for one-time notification opt-in, and then basically targeting the more engaged users with saying, you know, there is new content to the bot, maybe you want to share it with your friends. So hope that answers your question, and back to you, Manish.
Thanks, Maria. Okay, we have one more question in Q&A that says, if we design our chatbot with WhatsApp chat API, can we integrate it with some other platform or website? And chatbots can be customized as per our organization's requirement. Sarish, that's a good question. And the answer is yes, you can integrate your WhatsApp chatbot with any external tool that you want, and you have access to all APIs. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Okay, now back to the community. With a goal to learn from each other and to create joint impact across sectors, we are introducing a brand new community forum for all our members. That means going forward, Chat for Impact Community Forum would be your go-to platform to ask questions about the product or the issue that you're facing, or start discussion around different topics such as mitigating gender-based violence using chat, or how to start using NLP in your chatbot, maybe. Or you can also showcase your service. For example, if you have reached 1 million users and you want to share the strategy, feel free to do it in our forum. Or if you want to raise a request to turn team, for example, any feature that you want to see in future, etc., you can do all that in this forum. For that, all you have to do is you have to sign up on chatforimpact.io. We'll share this presentation, and you can copy that link from there. And after you have signed up, don't forget to upload a cool profile picture so that we could recognize you. And then you can start navigating if you want to learn from the questions that others have posted in the forum, or if you want to post your own question, you can click on Write to Post button on the top right corner, and then you have to select the category around different categories that we have, and then you can submit your post. It's super easy, and we would love to learn from you, and we hope that you could help others in the community by sharing your resources, your wisdom, and by answering questions of your fellow community members. I'll see you all in the community forum. Next slide, please. Okay, festival season is coming up. That means there'll be a lot of celebrations and holidays, etc. So we would like to know if you are planning specific campaigns on WhatsApp for the end of the year, so that we could plan and support you better during that time. Please tell us about those campaigns via our community forum or writing to us at impact@turn.io. Next slide, please. And lastly, remember we have a LinkedIn group that you can join. We conduct weekly training sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we are available for you on our dedicated WhatsApp support line at +1650600 600 That's a wrap to this town hall. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Pleasure.